Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Efeolua Ishola. If this is your first time of coming across my face, welcome. Please go through some of my videos. I'm sure you're gonna like the vibes here. Click on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and do well to give this video a thumbs up. And if you are a returning subscriber, you already know how much I love and appreciate every single one of you. Thank you so much for sticking and also returning back to the channel. In today's video guys, I will be sharing with you my experience of breastfeeding and sharing with you essential tips that are needed for a breastfeeding mom or a new mom, or new mom basically. So if this sounds like something you are interested in, comment. So guys, to start with, if there was anything that actually floored me totally in this motherhood journey, I know I'm just starting and I'm probably just getting there. I mean, my baby girl is what, 10 months going to 11 months now. But if there's anything that really surprised me so far, is breastfeeding. I never ever thought, not in my wildest dream, did I ever think that breastfeeding was going to be hard or is hard. Because I mean, you see women breastfeeding their children, happily doing so. So I thought it was supposed to be a natural thing. Just put your baby to breast, she sucks. In fact, there were two major things I was looking forward to in motherhood. One is wearing a matching outfit with my child, whether it be a girl or a boy, and God blessed me with a girl, so I mean matching fit is on point. And the second thing was breastfeeding. So that's for you to know how much I really look forward to breastfeeding. So when I gave birth and then breastfeeding wasn't what I expected it to be, it was tough for me. Now for the first 2 days after giving birth, it was easy peasy, you know. It was like, bring her, she sucks for some minutes, take her back to her crib, sleeping. I was also chilling, you know. I was so high on morphine, you know, pain relief at that time that I wasn't feeling anything. But the third day when Amaris latched, Jesus Christ, the pain I felt was from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet. I cannot forget that pain. I was like, what is going on here? What's happening? Is this supposed to be normal? And it was just something that I literally had to start counting seconds until it got better. And my husband was going to hold my hand and I'm going to be like stomping my feet on the ground. And after like 60 to 120 seconds, that's like 2 minutes, it kind of get better. But before we got to that point, I remember when we got back home from the hospital, the fourth day, I had cracked nipples, bleeding nipples. So literally my nipple was bleeding because it was cracked. And it, remembering now is giving me PTSD. Seriously, it was painful. Like I did not envisage that kind of pain to have happened to me, especially not with breastfeeding, you know. And the thing is, your baby has got to eat, because you're just going to be watching your child cry. And it was at that point I understood why women opt to just formula feed their child, or why women do not do exclusive breastfeeding, because breastfeeding is hard. Breastfeeding is hard and it's not highly talked enough about. Because before becoming a mom, I did a bit of research because I had time on my hands. So I did a bit of research, trying to research into things that I was supposed to know, things to be prepared for. But I never really did an in-depth research about breastfeeding, because I just thought it should be a normal thing. Boko normal. You literally have to learn it. You are learning to breastfeed. Your child is also learning to latch and feed properly. And you see that process is not a cuddly sweet process. No, it's a really painful process. Well, for me, it was really painful. And it even got to a point where my husband was like, you know what, I think we'll just stop this thing. Maybe they're sending formula, let her be taking formula. There's nothing bad about that, but you can't be going through this pain just because we have to feed our child, you know, for her to eat. And another thing that actually wasn't talked enough about was the engorgement. When my milk started coming in, I mean 2 weeks before putting to bed, I noticed that my milk had started coming in. I was already leaking. So my midwife was like, oh, this is a good sign, you know, this is good, it's gonna make the breastfeeding journey easy. So I'd already started to leak, but then I wasn't engorged. But the week after giving birth, when my milk came in properly, I was so engorged. My breast was rock solid hard, and it was so painful. So my husband will always have to pull towel inside hot water, help me massage just for it to be better. And at the same time, I'm not looking forward to feeding my child because of the pain. So it was just like a mixed feeling of, what do I want to do? Feed my child, relieve myself of engorged breast? And should we even talk about blocked milk dot? Do you people know what blocked milk dot is? It's when you have lump, not lump for breast cancer, but you know when you have lump, like the milk in your breast do not have place to express, so it's kind of blocked, and that thing is painful. And do you know how else you can get relief? Your baby has to suck. So even though you're in pain, you still have to go through pain for you to get relief. Make it make sense. I mean, haven't we suffered enough from bringing the child to the world? I still not have to suffer to be the cow to produce the milk. Anyway, this is the point where I start to talk about things that really helped me, that I feel you need to get in your basket. If you're a new mom, you're watching this, or you're pregnant, soon to be a mother, and you're going to be breastfeeding, get your pen and paper, put this down. And if you're a man watching, or you have a friend who will soon put to bed, trust me, these are perfect gift ideas for you to give to them that is going to help. The first thing I'm going to have on my list is have a supportive partner. Now, they do not sell this in any store, they do not sell this in any supermarket. You need to have a supportive partner. Trust me, this is the number one thing on your list, because if you do not have a partner who is gonna hold your hands literally and figuratively through this experience, it is tough. You need somebody who will be able to tell you can do it, somebody who will be able to share the pain with you somewhat way, you know, be able to just be there with you to encourage you, help you through it. Like, I don't know how other words to use, but you just need somebody to help you through it. And having a supportive partner is not talked enough about it. I can't count how many times I'm almost breaking my husband's hands when I'm holding his hands when our baby girl have to latch, because I just need that succor. You know, you just get a supportive partner. Okay, you need a supportive husband to help you through that. Second on my list is you have to persevere. You have to have this grit to see you through, because indeed, if there was anything everybody was telling me at that point, especially my big sisters who have gone through, was it get better with time. And indeed, it got better with time. I mean, now I'm a pro in breastfeeding. It's no longer painful. With time, it got better. I mean, by the time my baby was like 3 months, I was already having a bit of fun breastfeeding. So it does get better with time. So you need to persevere. You need to be strong, you know, to see you through. Because I mean, the joy, the bond you have with your baby when you're breastfeeding is priceless, second to none. So for you to experience that, you just have to keep at the back of your head that it's going to get better with time. And trust me, it does get better with time. The third thing on my list is having a nipple balm. You need a nipple cream, whatever type you want to use. I'm going to put a picture of the one I'm using. Mind you, this video is in any way not a promotion to that. I'm just sharing things that worked for me, and I believe it's going to help you as well. That's just what I'm sharing. So do well to try different products as much as you want to try. Please do well to try any different products. I'm just sharing the one that works for me. You see this nipple cream? It was my bestie. Especially in the first 4 months when I had cracked and bleeding nipple. It really helped me. So before breastfeeding, I'll apply a lot. And another beautiful thing about this nipple cream is BPA free, so I can even use it, like, it doesn't have any side effect on my baby, so I can use it before breastfeeding and after, and no need to clean it off before breastfeeding, if that makes sense. So whenever I want to breastfeed, I put an ample I almost choked there. In short, I put enough quantity to really make it greasy, so it made latching easy. And after feeding as well, I put it as well, so it's not dry, to help with the cracked nipple. Because why I was able to or what I learned was because my nipple was cracked, and then they just use this nipple cream. Okay, Another thing, I've lost count. Another thing I'm going to ask you to get as well is comfortable nursing bras. Okay, there are some type bras like this. I really love this one because it's got like a clip where you can unclaps and claps back, you know, so it makes it easy for you to just pull down, breastfeed, especially if you're in the public. You know, it's easy for you instead of struggling with removing one hand or having somebody help you unhook at the back. You just unhook on the side. And why I said make it comfortable, like go 2 sizes up, is because you're gonna have engorged breast, which means your breast is probably gonna double or triple its size. If you're somebody that it was like me, my breast tripled its size. I mean, that was one thing I love about motherhood. My boobs tripled its size, so I went literally 2 sizes up what I would usually have wear, and it was so comfortable because if you have a gorge breast, you don't want something flat pressing your breast. You want to have a bit of space because it's painful, so you don't want things to hold it too much. And another thing I learned as well is having a comfortable nursing bra will also prevent you having a blocked milk duct, because when you're having let down, it's going to, you know, there's space for you to have enough let down, because that let down too is as if they are choking you knives. Mothers, so just please buy comfortable nursing bra. Okay, that is going to help you. Another thing on the list is a silverware cup. This is the one I got, and I think this one is mostly useful if you have a cracked or bleeding nipple. Now I had to get this because I was having cracked and bleeding nipple, like bleeding basically, yeah. So I needed something to soothe the pain, especially after breastfeeding, because after breastfeeding, you know, sucking on something fresh is, gosh, this is giving me PTSD. Sucking on something fresh really gives you that pain and the ick, you know. So after she finished sucking, I used the silver nursing cups to just pour up there. Because it's silver, the cooling effect really helps, and at the same time it collect a bit of breast milk, because breast milk also heals the wound, you know, so you collect a bit of that, hold it in, and that really helps me a lot before the next breastfeeding session. I also, in line of that, got a nipple shield. That was because you know, because of the pain of latching on a bleeding breast or bleeding nipple. The nipple shield was to prevent like the fresh contact with my nipple. Unfortunately, my baby girl did not like it, so I had to get rid of it. But I've heard situation of people who really love this, especially some said the mistake I made was I didn't start using it from the first day, you know. So my baby wasn't used to having the silicone in her mouth. She was used to the breast instead of the silicone on it, so she didn't end up having it. I had to throw that away, but it's really good. I've heard a lot of testimonies about that as well, women saying how much it helped them. Another thing I'm going to talk about is this cooling pad and freezing pad. So the beautiful thing about this pad is you can freeze and you can warm it, right? Now I love the freezing pad more because you just need something cool when your breast is engorged because it's hot, so you need something cool. Now sometimes I use the warm one as well, so it helps the milk and the blocked milk duct to get I wanted to say diffuse but you know, when something is blocked, it helps to like relieve the pain as well, so it makes it diffuse, kind of like it makes it melt. Okay, that's the word. It makes it melt and easy for your baby to be able to help you suck that out. So I was using that as well. Now another top thing on my list is going to be breastfeeding pads, breast pads. You need that, especially in the first few months where you have let downs almost every other time, even when your baby isn't sucking. So in order to avoid your nursing bra being soaked with your milk and your clothes as well, you need to get this breast pad. Now I love this more because it absorbs more, because there are different types of breast pad, and trust me, I've tried different ones as well, especially when I thought I could save money by going for cheaper ones. But this is not I said cheap, it isn't costly, right? It's affordable and it holds well as well, like it absorbs comfortably well. So you would need this because you don't want your clothes being soaked, especially when you're going out for functions. You want to feel, you know, comfortable and guarded, so this really help. And in line with this as well, I got the Aka pump. This is the one I usually hold for let downs on the older breast. So while you are breastfeeding on probably the right breast, once you have let downs, of course the other breast is also leaking as well. So in order to prevent the milk being wasted, I usually use this Haka. And of course this was useful at the early stage where you had enough breast, you know, where your body was pumping and producing profusely because it wants to regulate itself to know how much your production is. So this really helped me to harvest milk that harvest milk. So this really helped me, to be able to not waste that other milk and be able to use store it as well. Now if you're somebody who wants to pump so that you can alternate between the breast and bottle for your baby with breast milk, in which I feel like if it's just you and your partner, like the way it was for me and my partner before, the way it was with me and my husband, rather, before my mom arrived, it was just her. So I knew that my baby was going to be having the bottle because I would definitely need a bit of help, and at the same time for my husband to also bond with his baby. So we introduced the bottle to her on the first day, and I knew I was going to be breastfeeding as well, because at the early stage babies do not take much. They probably take like one ounce of milk in 2 to 3 hours, and you're engorged. You need to let things out. So I would say invest in a good pumping machine, because you do not want the flannel to be too tight or too large to make your nipple uncomfortable. So make sure you go for the perfect flannel size, and also make sure that the pumping machine that you get is one that actually suits your nipple. Check a lot of reviews. I used this, it was Mom Cozy I used. Super nice. I love how easy compact it was. It was hands-free, so I could be pumping and be doing other things. Chef kiss, I really love that. So depending on what you want to do, if you want to have an hands-free pump, please, you can get that. Or depending on any other one you want to get, you necessarily do not need to get this, but I would say invest in a good pumping machine, one that the flannel sits sides, because you don't want your nipples to be squeezed in between while pumping, and then that could lead to cracked nipples as well. And in line with getting a good pumping machine, of course, is getting a good storing bags for you to keep your milk, one that wouldn't have air in them entrapped, because you don't want your milk to go bad. For my baby, I really wasn't building a freezer stash. I did not want to build that, so I was pumping for things I knew she was going to use either that day. I think our most that we had gone was 2 or 3 days in the fridge, but I never really froze any milk for her. So if you want to be building a freezer stash, then of course you need a storage bag. For me, I just kept it in our bottles. When we needed, pop it into the bottle warmer, and that was it, and that really helped as well. Another thing that I'm going to talk about is getting a nursing cover. That's because you're gonna breastfeed outside more than you thought you would. Because I remember when I started gaining the confidence to go out my baby girl, I thought I wasn't going to be breastfeeding outside. In fact, I was telling myself, I'm going to time the time she eats. Once we're using 2 hours outside, I need to be back home. I don't want to breastfeed outside. How am I going to do it? This is that. You're gonna breastfeed outside. There's nothing you want to do about it, whether you're in church or you go shopping, because the thing is, babies are unpredictable. Sometimes they do not nurse because they're just hungry. Sometimes they nurse for comfort. Sometimes they nurse just to feel that you're there, just to calm them down. And most of the times, when you take them out, and because babies get cranky, that's another thing I've learned. Baby girl gets cranky. So when you're outside and it gets cranky, the easiest way to pacify them is to offer them the breast. So you are gonna be breastfeeding outside many times that you probably even imagine or thought. So it's best to invest in a nursing cloth cover, just because you just want to feel comfortable breastfeeding even when you're outside. Now, that was something I really never got used to. Even at this point, I'm still not used to breastfeeding my child outside. It just feels somehow, but having a good breastfeeding cover, helps you feel covered and protected and comfortable. So it's good to have that, and it's not just for yourself to be comfortable, it's to not make others uncomfortable as well, if that makes sense. So it's just good to cover up so that people will not know where to put their face. Or come on, just cover up. Thank you. I think these are my top essentials. And yes, I know breastfeeding is hard, but it is rewarding. Trust me. The smile my baby gives me whenever she's nursing, like it just melts everything away. Like it's so charming. Sometimes I tell my husband that I feel like a smile is telling me, like, I see you, mama, and I appreciate you for everything you're doing. I feel like that's what she tells me sometimes. And no matter how painful I probably felt when she wanted to latch or when she had latched. You know, that pain just kind of melts away when I see the satisfaction, you know, on her face and the smile it gives. And I was so grateful to God that I was able to made it through to exclusively breastfed for 6 months and still breastfeeding even now that we've started augmenting, you know, with foods and other things like that. And it's really just, you know, awesome to be able to do that. I salute women all around the world. I see how strong we are. I see how much tenacity that we have, you know, just pushing through to make sure that we give our babies the best. To me, I do not think there's any other sacrifice that is worth that, you know. It's just a beautiful experience altogether. Yes, I did had a bit of rough time, you know, starting breastfeeding, but of course I wouldn't trade my breastfeeding journey for anything else. It was awesome. I loved the fact that I was able to breastfeed my child. I felt fulfilled, you know. It was a beautiful thing to experience. So I know it might be hard, probably a new mom just 2 days or weeks into breastfeeding, and that latching is latching you. Hang in there, it's gonna get better with time. Using some of these things that I mentioned as well, these tips that I mentioned as well, trust me, with time it definitely get better. And I say congratulations to every new mom. If you are a TTC mom, hold on to God. You're gonna carry your evidence very, very soon, and everybody will be fine. Get their answered prayer and give all glory back to God. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and sticking to the end of this video. If you watched to this point, you haven't subscribed or liked or dropped a comment, please do what to engage with me in the comment section. And like I would always say, I'm not an island of knowledge. If you have any other tips, experience from your experience that you want to share, please drop in the comment section, and I'm sure one or two of us is gonna find it helpful. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.